gotta set the tone, right? We're on Passionate Few. We not
give them that sauce, bro.
Listen, we call it our 2-year millionaire play. All three of us, in 2 years, we've been able to build up our wealth and become multi-millionaires.
What advice would you give to people watching this right now who really want to make their dreams a reality?
I want you to show them how to get $100,000. He's gonna swing it to Boone. He's gonna show you how to flip that money, and then Boone's gonna swing it to me and show you how to even get bigger real estate like self-store.
So this is how we're gonna get access to the capital.
So what I always teach people how to do is,
And then where do you come in on the trifecta side?
I teach you how to double up. If you are in our environment for 5 days, no, 6 days really, we're teaching you this day in and day out. At the end of the 6 days, it's like, you can't go back. You know, my mind is open now. My mind is stretched. I cannot go back to what my life was.
Hey guys, welcome to this episode on the Passionate Few podcast. It's your host, Omar here, and today we have an epic episode to help you take your life, your business, and your investments to the next level so that you can fund your freedom with none other than my three epic guests, Derek, Ramel, and Kenneth. Thanks so much for being on the show today, gentlemen.
Yes, sir. Happy to be here. Thank you.
Awesome, man. Stoked we can have this set up here in Orange County. I know you guys traveled from all over the country to make it happen.
That's right,
sir.
Appreciate it. So let's get right into it. All of you guys have been able to build financial freedom through real estate, right? One of you guys specializes in residential, commercial, and also with funding. So can you guys talk a little bit about where you guys grew up and where your guys' ambitions for real estate began? Just one at a time, I guess.
so I'm from Philadelphia. I got started in real estate in 2017 in sales as far as a real estate agent. Then I transitioned to wholesaling, where we pretty much middleman in property. Make like 10 to 30K per deal. And then that's when I pretty much said, I'm helping you and everybody else get rich and get wealthy, because I'm never a part of those deals long term. So then that's when I switched to, okay, now it's time for me to buy deals. And now we have about $8 million worth of real estate, about 40 units, and all across pretty much 2 neighborhoods in Philadelphia. So like you go down there, we might have like 3 houses on 1 block.
Wow. And how did you get into it to begin with? Like, did you start out trying a bunch of different entrepreneurial things?
Being broke.
Whole beginnings? Yeah.
So I went to college. I got kicked out because my grades was like all Fs and like a D. So they pretty much said, like, you got to go. And then I worked at a regular job making $10 an hour at a retirement home. And then, you know, I think everybody had a moment where like $600, $700 on a check, not cutting it. So, I mean, that should be for everybody, but eventually it like really like burns you up. And then that's when I went to a class. Realized real estate is something I always wanted to do, but it's something you need a degree for. You don't need a corporate background. You need a whole bunch of experience. You don't need a whole bunch of money. You don't need a whole bunch of anything. So I went to a class, and then I waited till the class was over, talked to the host, and he became my mentor. And he just said, you really should give this a shot, like full throttle. And I did, and
And how old were you when that happened?
I'm 29 now, so that was 2016, so I'm like 23 maybe. Yeah, like 23.
Yeah. How about you guys?
Yeah, so I'm from Chicago. My name's Kenneth Smith, and I'm in the credit space with the funding aspect of it, but I started this journey by getting a mentor first. So the reason I had moved out of Chicago to go to Atlanta to start being around like-minded people and entrepreneurs and stuff like that, but a friend of mine got killed, so I was living with one of my roommates. And a situation happened in Chicago. He got killed. We was outside at a little spot, and he got killed. So that was a moment, like a change for me, that something else got to be different.
How old were you at that time?
That was 2017, so it was like 23, 24.
Wow.
So after that situation, I'm like, all right, something got to give. I got to do something a little different. I was just doing mediocre stuff. I think I was working at some little clothing store for a little bit. I was trying to flip iPhones and stuff like that. But so I was trying to find my way a little bit. But after that, I was like, man, I got to find something else. So I moved out of Chicago, went to Atlanta, and invested to a mentor. So a mentor taught me the credit game, and that's Inside Out, M500. He taught me the credit game. So after I learned that, I kind of used that as my business module to start doing credit repair. Yeah. And then I started learning credit repair and started utilizing credit, and I started learning the funding aspect of it, how to get access to the money part. Yeah. So then once I learned that aspect, I had to learn what to do with the money. I started my businesses from there. But I was intrigued with the funding part. I love getting access to the money part.
And when you first signed up for your mentor, was like money tight? Like, was it a stretch for you to invest in the mentor at that time?
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of money. It probably like my first investment was like, I think it was like $4K. And I think I only probably had like 6,000 or 7,000.
Yeah. Were you scared to do it, or was it like,
I was a little, it was a little pullback.
Yeah.
but I understood that something had to give.
Right.
What I've been doing wasn't working for so long, and I know that there's something different out there that I didn't know.
Right.
So it's either I stay in the same position, I keep running, jogging in place, or I try and take this leap of faith to something that different is going to be happening. And I'm consistently seeing on social media, you know, X, Y, and Z. You should do this. You should start a business. You should invest. You should get your credit together. So I'm like, all right, if I consistently keep hearing this from different people that I'm seeing doing pretty good in life, it got to be some type of trick to it. I got to learn. I got to start somewhere.
Right.
So I had to pull the plug, and I was like, I'm gone.
I love
it. It was the best decision of my life.
I love
best decision of my life.
I love that. How about you?
Ramel Newerls, born and raised in Brooklyn, 30 years old. I've been in real estate for the last 9 years. But growing up in Brooklyn, you know, poverty, welfare, food stamps, free lunch, like coming on that, I never wanted to settle for that. And I see my dad work 30, 40 years and retire, and he always told me, like, never settle for a job, because a job stands for just over broke. So by seeing him work a job and telling me to be better than him, I knew I needed to do something different. I didn't know it was going to be real estate, but this is why the internet is so powerful, because back in 2014, I was in college, and I ended up getting arrested on campus, on my college campus, and they put me on terminal probation. But I went on YouTube and I see,
for what, if you don't mind me asking?
I was selling weed. I was nickel and dime, right?
Yeah.
But I got caught on campus. The K9s, they came in my dorm room, me and my best friend. But then they arrested me on campus. And at that time, I'm like, damn, like, I can't go back home, right? I got an opportunity to change my life. And I went on YouTube, and on the notifications, it was a real estate video. And this guy was teaching real estate and how you can make money in it. I'm like, let me try that, you know? So I invested in my first online course, started learning real estate, got my first deal, made 6 figures, my first deal in real estate.
What kind of deal was it?
So it was a 2-family brownstone. I'm from Brooklyn. Brownstone's expensive in New York. It was $590,000. So I got under contract, and I ended up working with another investor that partnered with me. He put the entire $590,000 up for me. I put no money out of my pocket.
So it was a flip or a wholesale deal?
It was a flip.
Okay.
But I got under contract, and my plan was to buy it myself, but I couldn't afford it, right?
Right.
But I found somebody else that did have the money and said, if you partner with me and put the money up, I'll give you 50% equity.
And you do the work, though.
I'll do the work. So you just come in as an investor.
So you leverage, like, you didn't have the cash, you leverage your effort. Yeah.
Exactly.
And how did you find the investor?
Going to networking events. So I would go on Eventbrite, and I would type in real estate meetups, and I would go to these free events. I'm handing out my business cards. I'm wearing suits, just shooting my shot.
Yeah.
I ended up coming across a broker, and she said she's seen something in me. She said, you remind me of my son. Like, I want to help you out. And by the grace of God, she connected me to another guy that she knew. The deal made sense. He invested in the deal. That same deal, we purchased it, put it on the market for $1.2 million. Made 6 figures in real estate. My very first deal, 25 years old.
Wow. And then right there, you were hooked.
I said, listen, I made in one check what it would take me to make rich. I thought I was rich. I thought I was up, man. I was, but like I made in one check what it took me to make at my job in 4 years. So at that point, I kept reinvesting, and building up my portfolio. I had $1 million portfolio by 28 years old, and it sounds a little cool, but in 2020, when the pandemic happened, so tenants stopped paying their rent. They had the eviction ban where you couldn't evict tenants because of monetary reasons.
Right.
So I'm stuck with the mortgage. The debt is heavy, taxes, maintenance, everything you could think of, but the cash flow is not coming in now. And I'm not the big dog that I thought I once was, right? So I started to think on my feet, how could I bring in some more cash? And I started to sell a few of my properties to liquidate. And then 2020, the market was insane. So people was paying $20,000, $30,000 over asking price. And this one property I ended up selling, I had a tenant in there with the buyer. He wanted me to deliver it to him vacant. He didn't want a tenant in there. So I went to my tenant and I offered him $2,000 cash for keys. So it means take the money, just give me the keys. I don't care what you owe me. I just need you out. He agreed, but he wanted me to put his items in a storage unit while he transitioned to his new place, wherever he was going to go. I said, okay, deal. But when we started to look for a storage unit, everything was sold out in my area. And that's when I said, I need to get on this side of the business. So that's in 2020. I paid $50,000 for mentorship. I got into this mastermind. I learned this whole new world of self-storage, purchased my first self-storage facility. Now we have over 300 units with another 240 under contract within like just 3 years. So
I love that you share that too, because it seems like the common denominator between all three of you guys is like you were unhappy with where you were at. you wanted more, you didn't know how to do it, but notice the pattern in your guys' story is that there was a mentor, there was an instrumental person. You guys took the leap to get someone who's ahead of you to kind of show you how to do it. So a question I have for all three of you, and you guys can all chime in, is like, can you just walk through the, like, maybe the process of how important it is to take imperfect action, right? Because, you know, you're talking about wholesaling your first deal. You probably had no idea. It's intimidating when you first start, you know, you're going to get it under contract, make the spread, you know, you with credit, you with your properties. Like, how important is it to take imperfect action in the beginning to get the ball?
It's so important. Because I want to say this, and I'm going to pass it to you, right? But this is a quote that I live by, and this: failure is the cheat code to success. So you gotta fail. Anytime in life where everything is going too well, I'm like, all right, this is not cool, because I need to learn. There needs to be some type of obstacle so that I can see the opportunity. And as long as you adapt that mindset of, I'm okay with failing, then you'll take those actions, even if it's perfect or not, but you'll see the success in it.
Yeah.
My friend always says you want to fail as fast as possible, because as soon as you fail, you learn why you fail, and then you can succeed. So if you if I can fail in a day or a month, 3 days, now I can get the game so I can succeed, and now it's a wrap after that. And even like on just a normal level, if you apply for a credit card and you get denied, technically a fail, they give you exactly why you got denied so you can fix it and then get approved. You apply for a mortgage, they tell you why they denied you. Now you can fix that and go get approved. You know, you go ahead and fail in, let's say, a game. Coach says, oh, you did this wrong, you did this wrong. You can fix that and you're going to succeed. So failure, having imperfect action is dope, because even if it doesn't work 100% out, now you're going to get the game to make it work. So I feel like that everybody should have imperfect action, because it's like you're going to know why it didn't work. So it's a win-win. That's why I look at it. Even though you might look at a fail or a loss, it's either a win or a lesson. So it's not a loss anyway. So, but when you try to wait to make things perfect, you never even try. It's like, I'm going to do this when it's perfect. That might be 5 years from now. Think of how much money, how much knowledge, how much impact, how many connections could have happened in those 5 years while you was waiting.
Yeah. How about for you?
One time somebody asked me, is anything perfect? You know what I mean? So, but then if you ask that question to someone, like, just for someone who's like, I'm scared, or I'm not gonna be perfect. So it's like, and then you ask them like, well, anything perfect? Anything you start in the world, is it gonna be perfect? They will tell you themselves, like, no, I know it ain't gonna be perfect. Well, then why, when you start something, why don't you know that it might not be perfect, but you got to do it? You know what I mean? To get better, to start, you got to take a step forward for you to make another step. So I think that really just got to make it simple and just really think, like, I think it's going to be perfect anyway. So
100%. There's a beautiful quote. It says, there's no straight lines in nature. You know what I mean? There's no tree that's straight, no hills, mountains, or anything. So it's all about, like, making the best of the imperfect.
I like that.
Yeah, no straight lines in nature. Now, what about when it comes to investing in mentors? Like, I know we talked a little bit about you. It was like a little bit scary, but how about you guys, right? When it came for you to invest in your first mentor,
cut that check. Cut the check. Cut the check. I'm at this point where if I'm talking with you and you were saying some things we were talking before, it's like, all right, my next question is how much?
Yeah.
Like, sometimes it throws people off when I meet people and I see that they know what they're talking about and they giving games, like, all right, how much? Like, what you mean? Like, how much? Let's speed this up. Let's not go back and forth. Let's not do all this dance. Like, how much? Because I'm trying to speed this up. Right. Get on your calendar now. When you wait, like, I look at like opportunity, because you waiting so long to find a mentor. You waiting so long to get locked in with somebody. Like, all that time. Like, think about, I say, like, think about how much money you make a month and you wait 3 months to find that person to help you. That's 3 months of times X. Like, let's speed it up. Like, what we need to do, what form I need to fill out, what person I need to get on the phone with. Let's lock this in now, because I already know you're going to change everything for me.
No,
that's how I look at it.
But before you get, because we say that now after we've paid mentorship and seen results.
Yeah.
But somebody watching this, they probably still on the fence, right?
Yeah.
But I get it.
Worried, hanging on to what they got. The market's uncertain. How do I know? Yeah.
And it's tough, and really, you got to bet on yourself. That's the real truth about it. I know my first mentorship, I paid $5,000. I called my dad. I said, yo, Dad, I'm going to have to buy it. He said, well, you better YouTube that. Put that $5,000 back in your pocket, So it's going to be the closest people to you that's going to tell you don't do it. But you truly got to believe in yourself. You truly have to bet on yourself. And once you do that and you see the result, it's going to be nothing for you to just invest money and put it out, because now, like he said, I want to get to my goal faster, right? I don't want to wait 20, 30 years for me to be able to live the life that I want. I want to live that life now. If a mentor, like for us, like I say this all the time. I feel like mentorship is a scam, right? But a scam for on our end, right? Because if I spent 8 years of my life losing money, the headache, the ups and downs, and then you pay me $300 and I give you 8 years worth of information, like, that's a win. That's you got over on me, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, if I have a mentor and you telling me I can pay you $50,000 and now I can go make 500,000 or 5 million in the next couple of years, sign me up. Like tomorrow, tonight.
I like
That sound crazy too.
I like thinking about it like you can't do what you don't know either.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you don't know what to do, how are you going to learn how to do it then? Can't do what you don't know, so you're going to have to figure out some way. And if the person who have already done it, not the person, then what else you going to do?
Yeah, what other option you have?
Yeah.
100%. And I know you guys have the Fund Your Freedom Challenge coming up May 29th to June 2nd. For people who are watching or interested, we'll have a link in the description down below. But can you talk a little bit about just the importance and maybe some of the questions you guys get the most from people who either want to learn about real estate? Because there's might be people watching or listening, they know that most millionaires create their wealth through real estate. They know the importance of credit. Even we were talking earlier off camera about Manny Koshbin, and he told me, he said, dude, I'd rather empty millions of dollars in my bank account to have a perfect credit score than have cash and a low credit score, right? Because you have leverage. So for people watching this who may not know where to start, right? Maybe they're intimidated by commercial real estate, right? Maybe to them it's intimidating to find an investor for residential. Maybe their credit sucks and they want to get it better, right? And they're just kind of like, oh, there's so many things, it's bigger than me. What advice would you have for people on how to kind of get over that belief? What should they focus on? What are the steps 1, step 2, step 3 for people to kind of really start getting the ball rolling to create financial freedom for themselves?
Right. So the cool thing about our challenge is we're going to basically create you a map, a plan, like a blueprint for you, right? So, and then that's why I come in first. So I come in first and I want to teach you how to get the access to the money. We can't get into these deals if we don't have the funds, right? So let's get into that part first. Let's figure out how you can shelf money to position yourself to take these opportunities.
Yeah, because you guys started both with no money, right?
Zero.
Yeah, zero. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So if we can understand the concept of how to get access to the money, then we have the opportunity to invest, So I just want to break down and teach them, all right, this is how we go get access to the money before we even think about investing. Let's make sure we're in position to, take on the security side, we something fail, or just to even do it, period. So if I could teach you how to get access to the money from the banks, if you don't have the money, because that'd be the number one issue too. Oh, I can't do these things because I don't have the money. You can't save up the 100K or the 200K when you got a regular job or you got a small business. It's like, but you can get approved for it. So if I could teach you the metrics of how to get approved for it, it makes your process easier when it comes to trying to invest. So I just want to teach them the exact layout, how they can be able to get access to the capital and get the funding to be able to start investing.
And how important is credit in that process?
That's the number one thing you got to learn.
Yeah.
So it's important because it gives you opportunities that you don't have if you don't have it. So I used it to my advantage to be able to get to my goals. If I didn't have it, I don't see me being where I am today. So because when I didn't know about it, I had no opportunities. I was stuck and I didn't know which way to go because I couldn't save up enough money to do so. But
what's the biggest misconception most people have about building their credit score or just how credit works in general?
when they got bad credit, the thing is, I'm never going to be able to get it good because I got X, Y, and Z on my credit. Well, that's not true. We can be able to clean it up. Well, I can't get access to a large amount of money without having no money, just a good credit score. Well, yes, you can. If you meet the exact requirements that the banks want you to meet, then they will happily lend you the money. There is nothing I can't get approved for anymore. I got upwards of $700,000, $800,000 in other people's money right now. So it's nothing that I can't go in the bank and can't get now. So my opportunities are endless.
Yeah.
So,
what about practical steps for people who are watching, who maybe, I know you like there's so much to it, but any free game you could get, any free takeaway tip?
This is what we're going to do, right? Because we got to set the tone, right? We're going to passionate few. We're not going to exclusion. Listen, right? We call it our 2-year millionaire play.
Okay.
So all 3 of us, in 2 years, we've been able to build up our wealth and become multi-millionaires, right? And yes, we've been in business 9, 10 years, but once the light bulb clicked, it was 2 years to where we actually built it up. So now we're taking a blueprint and we're going to show everyone in the Fund Your Freedom Challenge our 2-year millionaire play. And right now, right, I want Smitty, I want you to show them how to get $100,000, right?
Yeah.
Once he showed them how to get $100,000 access to it and fund it, He gonna swing it to Boone. He gonna show you how to flip that money, and then Boone's gonna swing it to me and show you how to even get bigger real estate like self-storage. That's how we gonna do that right there.
So it's like the trifecta.
Yeah. So this is how we gonna get access to the capital, right?
Exclusive, right?
Give him a credit play. Still want to make sure you answer his question.
What,
Like,
cleaning?
yeah.
Okay. So so somebody got bad credit, right? We gonna start there. If you got bad credit, we gotta put you up. All right, if we got bad credit, I have a software that I want y'all to use. It's called disputepanda.com. This software is similar to like a chat GPT.
Dispute Panda?
Disputepanda.com.
Okay.
So it's similar to a chat GPT method where it automatically drafts up your negative items for you, right? It's gonna pull up red mark here, red mark here. That means you need to remove these things from your credit report to be able to get it good. So it's gonna automatically draft that up, and it's gonna automatically draft you up a letter for you to dispute these items as well. So the technology is crazy now. So it's also going to allow you to be able to send it off to the credit bureaus, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion via the system. So you can do all this within your home from your computer to be able to find your negative items, create a dispute letter to be able to dispute it off of your credit, and then send it off to the credit bureaus to start the cleaning process if you're in a position where you got to clean it. So let's just say we took a few months of that time frame to be able to clean it. All right, now we got in a process where we got to build it and we got to put ourselves in position for the banks. So now what they want to have you is like a 680 to a 700 credit score. And then we want to also have your profile structured, right? Because a lot of people say, oh, I got a 700 credit score, 750 credit score. That's cool, but you got to have a properly structured personal credit as well. So what we do is we take the personal credit and we take the properly structured LLC and we combine those and we get access to capital faster. So what we use is called, we do 0% interest business credit card stacking. All right. So what I do is I go to the banks. I'll go to we got a few banks that we use. We go to banks like Truist. Truist will give you up to work $30,000, $40,000 on a credit card and a business line of credit for $50,000 if you want to. We got like Key Bank. We go to banks like Chase. Chase is giving up to upwards of $150,000 on one credit card right now. They just did a new thing in their system where I just seen two come back to back, $100,000, $150,000. But we're gonna keep it simple and just say you can get $25,000 from them, right?
Right.
Navy Federal is our best credit union. All credit unions are always good when it comes to getting high limit credit cards. We love those as well. Now, the cool thing we like to do is what we call to be able to get funded in different states. So there are cool banks that give you higher limits if you knew them, but they are in different states sometimes. So people are like, I can't get that. I got a method of how we can be able to show you how you can get it funding in different states as well. So what we do is we file a foreign entity in a different state. So some of these banks might not be in your state, but they might be in a different state, but this is the way you go get it, right? So we file a foreign entity in the state, we get the business virtual address, and then now we applicable to be able to get funding in different states. So now this opens my horizon how much money I can get access to now. So now
it's domestic, it's all over the country.
Yeah. So if I go to this bank and get 20,000, I go to this bank and get 20,000. I go to NASA Federal Credit Union is another one I like to use to get 20,000, and I set up 5 different banks to be able to get $20,000 from. I can accumulate 6 figures of funding on the lower end, just to start out with, and now I got my shelf of money, and so we can set it up like that. They can get you access to the money.
Dude, I love that. That's some good free game.
Yeah, that's how you shoot.
And then what's the range of credit scores typically for, to even get the ball rolling for people listening? So I want to do that.
Yeah, so like 680, 700, the lower end, but just about 700. But you want to have your personal credit reporting right as well. So low utilization, no negative items, 10 accounts.
Is it true like 30% utilization, give or take?
So the banks tell you 30%. I tell you under 10% because I've seen so many approvals, and the higher approvals come from someone who has lower utilization, lower than 30. So what I've seen now, the metrics is when somebody under 10% is when I see in court. It's a little bit higher approval, so I recommend everybody do under 10%.
Perfect. Awesome, man. And then once they get access to the capital, you're the guy who knows how to flip it.
Yeah, so what I always teach people how to do is, you're the best to do it.
Yeah.
Hands down. What I always teach people how to do is how to get into residential real estate, whether it's a single family, duplex, triplex, 4 units. So let's say, for example, you have a property you're looking to buy for $200,000 and the lender says, we just need you to put down 10%. That's 20 grand. He just got you 20 grand off of one card. And the reason why I say utilize hard money lenders, because you got traditional banks like Bank of America, credit unions, they're going to ask for your arm, your leg, your blood type, bank statements, everything.
Right.
Hard money lenders, they're going to ask you for a couple documents, but it's more asset-based lending. Does the asset make sense? We don't care where you get the money from. So now you can utilize a credit card, liquidate that. One of the things he's going to mention is you can do a balance transfer the money from the card to your checking account, pull out the checking account, and then go ahead and buy the house with that. Now that's your 20%, your 10%, which in that example, that's your $20,000. Now the lender's gonna cover the remaining $180,000, plus let's say you need $20,000, $30,000 to fix it up, just to update it. And the reason why I say $20,000, $30,000, because if you're just getting into a deal, this is your first one, I don't recommend getting into like full-blown construction.
Right.
Like we just was talking about this earlier, like the projects that we do, we tearing them down and rebuilding back up. You might spend $200,000, $250,000, $300,000 to rebuild it. That's a lot of money. But when people just getting started, you can get in and out of something in 30 days. I just need to put down new floors, new kitchen. That might be $15,000, maybe $20,000. You can get in and out. So let's say you bought a house for $200,000 and you put $20,000, $30,000 into it, if that. But now it might be worth $300,000, $310,000. It's a quick in and out, 30 days, and then you can go flip it or refinance to get your money back. And then you can take that lump sum that you just made and then transition to bigger deals. Or you might say, look, listen, I want to do a quick 6 of these this year and just run up 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, you know, over those 6. Now you just made 6 figures that year and profit doing those methods like that. So that's one of the things that I go ahead and show people how to do and I recommend doing. And then just another little tip, right now the market is kind of funny money. As far as interest rates are a little bit higher. So when interest rates go high, right, that means properties sit what? They sit longer in the market.
Right.
When the properties sit longer in the market, that means homeowners are doing what? They dropping their prices to get them sold faster.
Right.
So now it's your time to come in and get the funding and then shoot lowball offers. Because if you had a property on the market for $200,000 and check for a house that's been sitting longer than 90 days, you got a house that's sitting on the market for 110 days. At this point, you might be willing to take 150, 160. Right. So now you guys can shoot those lowball offers, and now you have higher chances of getting them accepted, which then goes into what I just said: buy them, update them a little bit, and then go throw them right back on the market to sell or refinance. And then you got a tenant, but you can cash out some of the money. Might not be as much as if you flipped it, but you can cash out maybe $10,000, $20,000, $25,000, but now you still keep the asset and you're running out and got the cash flow.
And what about for people who are listening to this and going, shit, that sounds complicated. Like, I want to do it, right? Because there's a lot of people, and I'm sure, think about maybe the younger versions of yourselves who maybe saw people doing it and were intimidated, like, oh, real estate, legal, all this. But from your perspective, as you share all this, like, could you humanize it to the audience about just how possible it is for everyday people? Because
it's really coming down to you just shooting your shot. Anything sounds difficult until you start and you're like, this is really not as hard. Like, I'm telling you, you can literally go online and get approved for $25,000. That's, I'm talking about not hard at all. You guys can literally go to Zillow and type in the zip code you just want to buy. And then in the filters box, it says days on the market. Just put 60 or more or put 90 days or more. You literally going to have a list, maybe 10 to 15 to 20 houses. It's not going to be a lot because you're filtering the list. But now you got a strong 10 or 15 of all motivated sellers. The real estate agent phone number is right next to all those houses. You just get up that morning, I'm gonna call each one of them, and they have it on the market for 150, 200,000. I'm gonna just shoot 30% less than whatever they offering. I'm gonna go down that list and just 30% less, 30% less, 30%, 30%. And then what's gonna happen if you shoot offers to motivated sellers, 15 of them in one day, you think at least one of them, at least 2 of them, shoot, probably at least 5 of them are gonna be willing to accept your offer. And now you have that property that is willing to be sold to you, and now you can start the process of actually closing it. But that's really the hardest part.
Just getting in the game, the limited belief,
Getting in the game, once you, like, it's so crazy how someone's belief, someone's confidence, the smile on their face when someone says, yeah, I'm willing to sell to you for that price. Oh, shit. Oh, this is actually going to work. Like, oh, okay, okay, cool. Send the contract over. And then you shaking like, yo, this really happened. It all came from a phone call.
Right.
Just going to Zillow, going ahead. And we got other deeper methods, but that's something, just to answer your question, to humanize it, that's a 1, 2, 3 step that they can go ahead and do. And then the last piece is when you have something that's super duper cheap, it's easier to find money and easier to find deals. So if I say I got this deal that's worth 200, but I'm selling for 100, how many people are interested? Everybody's hand goes up. It's more people with money than it is deals. So now when you have something super duper cheap, finding the money is like, I can call you and or I can just post that I got this super cheap deal. Who wants to partner up on it? People just come out of nowhere. Or you can just, the same place he just said, tell that to your brother, your sister, your cousins. Now, if everybody got 100, y'all can just buy it cash together.
Exactly, yeah. Then it goes back to what you were saying about, finding people to partner with you on deals and then just building yourself up, leveraging others. That's really smart. Now, what about people who ask the question of, it's a famous thing is like, there's the Grant Cardones, the Manny Coachpins, all these, real estate moguls online who have different opinions. Should you buy a primary residence? Should you buy an investment property? Like, say someone is looking to buy, just what's your quick off the top advice, just mindset wise on when's the right time to get a duplex, a triplex, a fourplex? Like, if someone's looking to invest, like, what advice do you have for people about how to think about what investments to make when they're first getting started in the game?
You have to buy an investment property first. You have to, 100%, because when you have an investment property first, now, like, let's the simple mindset of you want your primary home to be nice, right? If you have a set income, you can only afford this amount of house. But when you get an investment property first, now you have not only your 9-to-5 income, but now you have that investment property income. So let's say you can only afford a $300,000 house. Now that rental income gets added to your main income. Now you can afford a $350,000 house. So now if you think long term, well, look, I want a house with a pool. Let me get a couple rentals first. That's going to stack up my monthly income, which is going to allow me to get approved for more, which is going to allow me to buy the actual primary house. That's on the front face. Now on the behind the scenes, now that rental income is paying that mortgage. So it makes 100% to buy your investment property first and then go ahead and get into the primary. And then on a multifamily tip, when you buy a property that has tenants in there, the bank allows you to utilize 75% of their rental income to add to you. So now you could buy a property right out the gate that's already cash flowing, and the bank is going to allow you to leverage 75% of that rent to go into applying for that, approving for that property. So it just makes sense all across the board for you as far as acquisitions and back and paying for it.
Yeah, and I love that you said it's a long-term approach. It's a long-term time horizon versus thinking about, say you buy your first house, but then you're trapped. You only got your income. From your income, you're paying your mortgage and you're stuck. Where's that extra leverage going to come from to start growing the portfolio?
Believe in somebody else paying for it.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. Plus you got the equity in it long-term. Yeah. And then where do you come in on the trifecta side?
Yes. I teach you how to double up. I teach you how to take that money that you flip and be able to create multiple streams of income out of it. So got with Smitty, $100,000. Boone, show you how to get into residential real estate, whether you buy a duplex or a four-family, you live in one unit, rent out the others, continue to build your portfolio. But now that you have experience in real estate, you understand the language, you understand the lending terms, you understand cash flow, then you could take it to the next level and get into commercial real estate. So what I specialize in is self-storage facilities. So when we think about the climate right now where people are losing their jobs, or Amazon just laid off thousands of people, you think about when they lose their jobs, they now downsize and live together because I can't afford my rent. In New York City, a lot of people are moving together because it costs so much to live. I need to come in, and they're not making apartment buildings any bigger. They're actually getting smaller. So now we have all of these items that we need to store inside of our storage units, right? So this is a thriving business, is recession-proof. Is a website called bizbuysell.com.
Bizbuysell.com.
Bizbuysell.com. This is a business brokerage website. So not only self-storage, but like restaurants, trucking companies, cleaning companies, anybody that's owned a business and they're ready to sell it, they're tired, they go to bizbuysell.com and list it with a business broker. So for you as a motivated investor and you're looking to buy self-storage, you can go to bizbuysell.com and start searching for motivated self-storage owners. So people that's been in the business 20, 30 years and they're tired and ready to get out of it, now you can go get it at a deep discount. So you find the facility, and then the financing part, you can actually go to the SBA, Small Business Administration, and it's called the SBA 7A loan. With this loan is specifically focused on newbie self-storage investors. The reason why I love this loan because, and I got to sit up this one, right? But the reason why I love it is because they finance you up to 90%. So all you got to do is come to the table with 10% down. You find a facility that's $1 million, you come to the table with $100,000. Well, Smitty just showed you how to get $100,000, and you got with Boone and flipped it. So you really up a couple $100,000, and now you're able to go acquire your first self-storage facility, instantly increase your net worth. It doesn't stop there. The reason why I love self-storage even further is because I'm able to create multiple streams of income through one acquisition. I don't need to be in 10 different businesses to create wealth. We know that they said a millionaire has 7, 10 different streams of income. Well, I want to be able to buy one business and then create multiple streams. So not only do we make money by renting out the storage units, we make money by partnering with the insurance company. So every time a tenant rents out a unit from me, I make it mandatory to get the insurance as well. But now I get paid commissions from the insurance company off the premium. That's an additional stream of income. I also partner with the local moving company. So when a tenant rents out a unit and they need movers, well, I'm gonna call my local moving company, send you the business, and then you give me commissions.
So it's like a vertically integrated
Exactly.
capital machine. Yeah.
Be partnering with U-Haul as well. Now, I'm not in the transportation or trucking business, but because I partner with U-Haul and they run the trucking business out of my facility, they give me 30% commission. So now I'm just able to utilize this one acquisition that I use without any of my own money to start. And now I created 4, 5, 6, and we teach you how to create 10 different streams out of this acquisition. And you do that once per year, right? This is why we say the 2-year millionaire play, because it probably take you maybe 3 to 6 months to fix your credit, set your business up, get funding. That's the first 6 months, right? The next 6 months, you're going to be working with Boone and showing you how to make offers and find the properties. That's a full year. You just got your first property. That following year, you focus on buying your first self-storage facility, create the streams out of it in 1 year. You can create a multiple $1 million net worth. And if you do that every single year, you do that every 5 years, you think about where you'll be.
100%. And one thing I love too is I'm friends with a lot of professional athletes, a lot of professional skateboarders, and a lot of them have put their money and earnings into self-storage facilities because the business model is so streamlined compared to other businesses with logistical complexity. Can you talk a little bit about why? We'll get into the power of real estate, but I just want to zoom in real quick on why storage facilities and why that business model is so A, lucrative, B, simple, and C, scalable long-term for people.
This is my
That's a
thing.
great question.
Yeah, so I say I love self-storage because no tenants, no trash, no toilet. That's number one. That's the simple part, right?
Yeah.
So I don't have to deal with people living in my units. I don't have to deal with somebody say, oh, upstairs they too loud, the music is blasting, right? Or these people in front of the porch and they're smoking and drinking. Nobody lives in the unit. They put their items there, they don't come back for years. So it's a simple business because I don't have the headache, right? And then from a management standpoint, I automate the facility. So we got an 88-unit facility. We don't have no management on the site because we automate everything. So when you want to rent out a unit, you go online, you rent your unit, you get your code, you go right to the gate. We don't need anybody there. We have VAs that's in the call center that manage the phones, that manage the cameras. So from a hands-on management standpoint, it's also hands-on, right?
Plug and play, yeah.
And then the last piece from a renovation standpoint, right? When you think about, and we go back and forth all the time, right? Like in residential real estate, if a tenant leaves your apartment, I got to spend $10,000, $15,000 to redo the kitchen, redo the bathroom. Well, when a tenant leaves my storage unit, power wash, clean it up, couple $100, call my auction guy, come in here, clean out the unit, $500. I'm able to turn it over. So now my profit margin is higher because I don't have to spend as much money from a maintenance standpoint. So those are my top 3, but I can go on and on and why this business model is and why so many people are investing in it even more and more and more, because it's just, again, it's recession.
And the industry is growing for people who are in storage, right? Like people who are storing stuff up. Because I know a lot of people might be listening to this and going, well, hey, that market's getting saturated, right? There's a lot of people. And most of the time, there's people who are not in it, right? But to people who say that, what are your thoughts on how big the market cap is?
It's not saturated because as long as there's people, there's always going to be storage facilities and stuff. For me, wherever the apartment building, they build in apartment buildings, right? Because more people are having babies, right? Like we're still here, right? Nobody's going anywhere. But more than that, we are attached to our belongings. Like as humans, as people, we just like to know that we got it. So I don't even use this, like my wife, like she's like, oh, you didn't use this in a while. I'm about to throw it out. Whoa, don't throw it out. Even I haven't even used it, but it's an emotional connection. So we want to just keep our things close to us, and storage units are not going away because of that.
So you're happy to collect the cash flow on them.
I'm 1,000%. And then I want to add this, right? So it's like, when you think about storage facilities, wherever there's a population increase, you want to make sure you follow that trend. So in Florida, you think about Texas, Vegas, these are places where so many people are migrating and relocating for business or whatever the case may be. Taxes. Now I want to go double up. because the population is growing. Wherever the people is, that's where I'm going.
No, I love that. And then let's zoom out and talk about real estate as a whole, right? Because we talked about credit, we talked about real estate, and we talk about actually scaling it through investments, both commercial and residential. Why do you think real estate is the number one vehicle to really truly create wealth? And is there anything out there that's even remotely comparable?
Because it grows on its own. Like equity. Like I have properties where I put a tenant in there. I got this one property. It's funny because the tenant just moved out. My guy's actually repaying the whole unit right now as we speak. And when I got it and I fixed it up, I bought it for 30. I put 70 into it. It was worth 180. Well, now when we just got to reevaluate it, it's worth 230. That was 2 years ago. So I didn't do anything. We collected cash flow over that whole time. And just because things are selling in the area, the value went up from 180 to 230. I didn't do anything to it. So as life goes on, things get a little more expensive. People are building buildings all around your property. It just keeps growing and growing and growing. Same way with like NFL, NBA players, NFL players, that the price of contracts just go up. Everything just goes up. But the thing about real estate, you bought it at one flat number a long time ago. New York, people was getting stuff at 500. You can't even get them prices no more. So all the top investors I know in New York bought stuff 10 years ago for 500,000. Now they're worth $3 million. But the thing about it is they still bought it for $5. So now
they got all that equity,
Yeah, so now you can really pivot, because if you just sell it or refinance it, now you got this lump sum of money just available. My uncle always told me that if you own a house, you're never broke. You can sell it, you can refinance it, you can rent it out, you all do all these different things, but you're never broke. You might have to wait 30 days to get your money, but you're never broke. So that's the thing why I think it's the number one wealth vehicle, because you can always just sit and just pull some out or put it back in, pull it out, put it back in. You always set.
And everything is real estate around us. Like right now, this is real estate. The highways is real estate. Hospitals is real estate. The schools, the gyms. Like you can't get around real estate. So if you don't say real estate is the number one wealth building vehicle, then you might as well just, I don't know where you're going to go, right? Anywhere you go, you're standing on real estate, period.
And you're going to be paying for either the rent, you're going to be either paying into someone's cash flow, or they're going to be paying you into your cash flow.
They talking about VR, virtual reality, but you're doing that inside of what? A building or a house. You always going to need a roof. Like you talk all this AI, but it's inside of what? A building. So it's never going to go anywhere. Even on the moon. They put people on the moon. There's going to be a building on the moon.
Yeah, that's powerful. Now, what about in terms of people who are like listening to this, maybe watching this at any level of their, career, entrepreneurial endeavor, whatever, who look at the landscape and say like, okay, like, I want to get this stuff going, but maybe they got some limited beliefs. Maybe they got some fears, worries, doubts, and maybe they're watching this and maybe they're in the position that each of you guys were not too long ago, or a couple of years ago, you were looking to, make money, do big things, but maybe they feel stuck, right? What advice would you give to people watching this right now who really want to make their dreams a reality, really want to take action, but maybe in the position that you guys were a few years ago when you didn't know how to quite do it, what to do, you were kind of intimidated by it? What advice do you have for people?
So I would say if someone like scared or think it's like too hard, because that's more of the thing, I would say to have a thought process like this. Investing is hard, just starting a business is hard, the credit stuff is hard. Well, it's not that hard, to be honest, but if it just the person feel like that, what about you staying in the same position? Is that hard too? You staying broke or can't do what you desire or can't take care of kids on vacation like they want, or just don't want to live paycheck to paycheck. Living paycheck to paycheck, you're stressed out. It's hard. Yeah. So choose your hard of what you want to be hard too. Would you rather be hard, investing and making more money, or investing to yourself, the personal development to get better? Or learning the credit or learning real estate? Would you rather you go through that hard and then some results may follow, or would you rather stay in the same position and continue to be hard and you got to continue to just take this hard and change happen?
Yeah, what's really harder? Yeah, staying the same or the pain of growth?
Yeah. And if you really look at it, staying broke, that ain't fun or it ain't easy. So I would say take that into consideration.
Yeah, there's a lot of people watching this, they've been broke or they've been in a situation they don't like for a bit of time. You don't just be in a bad space for one day. I'm gonna get on this YouTube video and figure out it's been sitting for a little while. So you think about, like you said, you already been in this bad, hard spot for this long. You might as well give it a shot. And you really think about it, you might as well give it a shot. That's why I like you know, what we're doing with our challenge, that, you know, we're literally putting you in a position to like guide you and hold your hand. So it's doing something new, so it's hard, but we're holding your hand while you're going through this hard time. So we're trying to help you. All right, this step 1, this step 2, this step 3, this step 4, this step 5, you know, to really put things together. So like you said, it's hard, but now we help them putting something together where we can help you, and we're doing the hard with you.
Make it easier.
Yeah. Everything that they said, really, you know, is a lot of people are not mad enough about their situation. Like, how tired are you about your situation? And I say this all the time, like, you know, mad for me is like make a difference. That's what this is about. Like, how mad are you about your situation? Are you going to make a difference? What are you going to do about it? And that was my process. Like, I was just mad about my lifestyle and the things I wanted to do. And the next thing that I want to lead to is just the fact that having that mindset and that belief. So the most powerful thing in the world is a made up mind. So, you know, once you go through these transitions, these stages in your life of being broke and not getting the things that you deserve, not being able to spend time with your family, you make up your mind. Whatever you want in life, like the mind is so powerful, because if you say this is the path I'm going to go on, you're going to see success in it. If you say that this is not for me, then it won't be for you, you know? So, you know, make that decision. We hope that, you know, we can inspire people by seeing this and, you know, getting our challenge and creating the 5 days. That's the reason why we made it 5 days. We can do one class, you know, but we said we need to do 5 days straight, because we understand if you are in our environment for 5 days, no, 6 days really, where we're teaching you this day in and day out. In the morning, we have accountability calls. In the evenings, we're teaching you everything that you need. At the end of the 6 days, is like, you can't go back. You know, my mind is open now. My mind is stretched. I cannot go back to what my life was. So, you know, yeah, that's
Not even at 6 days, like, because it sounds like a lot. We guiding it to where it's like step 1, and then you got homework after step 1, so you can fully understand and comprehend step 1. Then day 2, we're going into step 2. Got homework, you fully understand step 2. Then step 3 on day 3. So it's like, we're not just hitting you with everything at one time. It's like, hey, we're talking about this, we're breaking it down in a nice, clean format. Then in the next morning, you're getting on accountability call to talk about what we talked about last night. And then at night, we're going back to total to step 2. Because a lot of people have class, they're just smacking you with everything in 2 hours one time. No. We're going to break this down. We're going to take it slow, because we understand you new to this, so we're not going to talk to you as if you were an expert. We're going to talk to you like, make it comprehend for a 5-year-old. So not to say that anybody in there 5, but the fact that we're just breaking it down real nice and clean for you. So you're like, okay, I like that. I got it. You know, I know I can do that.
I love that. And then for people who are interested in joining the Fund Your Freedom Challenge, question I have for you is, why did you guys call it Fund Your Freedom specifically?
Because it's literally like, if you use this strategy, you can find your way to just be free. and I'm not, like, for me, instance, and I know it might can, you know, result, but I'm not chasing money anymore. The thing I'm chasing is freedom. And the thing that created my freedom was the access to the funds. So, and then when you start investing and things like that, you create more freedom for yourself, mind your freedom.
That's cool. And then who's this challenge for, and who's it not for?
It's not for anybody.
So no, I'll be honest. It's not for anybody that's not an action taker, because we gonna push you. That's just, we're not gonna sit. It's not the type of class where you jump on and you just kind of just sitting around. Like, we gonna hold you accountable. We gonna give you support. We give you homework assignments. We want to see success. This is not the class where at the end of the week, and we can't tell you went from A to Z. You'll be able to look at the end of the week and see, I've made progress. So if you're not an action taker, it's not for you. But if you're somebody that want better in your life, if you're somebody that actually want to get to some type of success, this is for you. Whether you're a newbie or even if you've been in the real estate business, you can learn different things. And the last thing I want to add is, because environment is so important. And yes, we cool. We're going to give the game, but what we see more value in is the community, where people come in this challenge and they start to build partnerships. We have people that actually built their own investment clubs, and now they're investing. So now
doing deals
they're
together.
doing deals. Now they're feeding their families, right? And then their kids, like, so what we're doing is impacting generations. This is beyond just 5 days. This is 5 generations. That's really how important that this challenge is. So we wanted to really spread this out and make sure, whether you, again, newbie, whether you've been in real estate, I don't care. Fund Your Freedom Challenge is where you need to be, May 29th to June 2nd.
100%.
Yeah.
I think environment is important too. So getting around like-minded people. A lot of people problem at home is they don't have no voice. They don't have no outlet. They don't have friends that have these 7-figure, 6-figure, 8-figure conversations all the time to be able to consume this information, to be able to act on it. So if you get in our group and you're starting to see wins too, this is motivational as well. You see the wins, you see the consistency, you see the partnerships, you see the everything in that. It sparks you. It kind of have to, because it's like, well, from my end, we had a call last week where we funded out $200,000 in 5 minutes. So now when we get in the group, I'm telling everybody, post your results in the group. I want to see everybody. Hey, I just got 15,000. I just got 20,000. Now let's just say you're a person just in the group and you watching this. It's like, man, I can't just sit here and miss all this. It's in front of my eyes right here. It's living proof. Yeah. Why would I let this keep passing me by? I want to be a part of it. You know, I want to do it. And it motivates you to like, all right, let me get my stuff together. Let me work at this. Let me put this blueprint to work. You know what I mean? Let me execute. And then I think that's helpful as well. You need that, because if you don't got it, and it's like, but like if you see it and you get around it, I think it's like it naturally brings it out as someone as well.
I want to add something really quick too, because I know we kind of break it down very simple because we want to make sure that newbies can really get into it. We want to make everybody, but we've also had real estate investors that's joined our challenges, that's been in the business 20, 30 years, and they still learn from us because why? The way you was doing it 20 years ago, this is a new strategy. We got new systems. Right? We able to find people at a click of a button, boom, and get motivated sellers. Back in the day, you was door knocking and send it out loud. Right? So again, I don't care where you at on the spectrum, you're gonna be able to get some type of value from it. So I just want to add that on there.
And resources. Yeah. So you might have not have the resources you need, but you start coming in the group, we have specific resources. So from my perspective, I got lenders in the bank. But like, if I can send you directly to my lender within a bank where now you're getting higher approvals, or you might have got declined or something, we do something what's called a reconsideration line. You might got declined or a low limit. Now we can get you into the reconsideration line team, and then now they might reverse your approval, or they might get you approved for more. So you having those resources to tap into, and then I'm giving you direct places to go to, direct, credit unions or direct lenders. Now it makes your process easier too. So you can, managing that. Cool.
And just to answer your question, like, who is it for? Like, just even on just basic terms, like, nobody doesn't know, they work hard, don't work hard. They been an investor, don't invest, so they got credit. At the end of the day, the way this is set up, we have 3 things. We have credit, we have funding, and we have hard asset real estate. I don't care who the hell you are, you need all 3. You need credit. The way this world is set up, you can't even get approved for an apartment now without credit. Some jobs need you to have credit, so we're helping you get that situated. You need funding, whether it's you need funding to buy your car, buy your primary home, or just start that business. You need funds. There's no way around it, and you need an asset. The problem with a lot of people have is they have the only way they make money is from their 9 to 5, or they have nothing to pass down to their kids when that time comes. So we're literally hitting all 3 of them at one time. So just the bare minimum, you need all 3 of these. You can't go ahead and say that challenge isn't for me. No, you can say I don't want to join it, but you can't say it's not for you. It's impossible.
Now, what about for people who have a job, people who have a small business? In terms of people watching this right now, maybe they're a college student, right? Maybe they're older and trying to get the ball rolling in their business. Specifically, who is someone who, like, what's an average situation of somebody who you recommend to be a part of this challenge?
I see it's still tough because we got people that are 60 years old and they just getting into retirement, or they're about to retire this year, that join in because they're trying to plan for right after retirement what's their next move. And we had people that was 19 years old, literally fresh out of high school, their first year of college, and they're trying to position so when they graduate college, they're not just relying solely on a job, they have the moves. We have some people that's 19 years old that never went to college and they're getting into this. We have some people that are 30 years old that have been working at their job for 10 years and they're positioning themselves to get out of their job. We have some people that's 40 years old that's working at their job. They love their job. They're a nurse, they're a doctor, they're a police officer, but I need to start getting some funding to buy hard assets. So now I'm not just relying. I love my job, but I don't want to just rely on that. I got to move. So it's really like, I'm trying to answer, but it's really for everybody. Yeah. Like the way it's said, it's really for everybody. It's tough. We got people from all different walks.
Funding.
Yeah.
We have people that, like, we got a 22-year-old, right, that he got into our program and he got funded for his business and he would have got car rental business. Now he on Toro. He got this car, that car, so Not if you don't want to go the real estate route, you just want to understand the credit piece and go get your business set up to go get funding. You can still take that and go start trucking, go start this e-commerce, right?
It's leverage.
It's leverage, you know. So
limitless leverage.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, well spoken. All right, and then the last question I have for each of you guys, because you guys shared so much value here, and I hope people who are watching this are really hyped up to A, check them out, and B, check out the challenge, which we'll link in the description down below, May 29th to June 2nd. But I wanted to ask you guys this final question is, what advice do you have for the younger versions of you, because that might be a parallel people watching, who, you know, thought about, fantasized about making your first $1 million, right? Becoming a multimillionaire, but seeing it as this impossible task. What advice would each of you give to the younger version of you who was looking for answers, looking to make their dreams a reality, looking to create their own freedom?
I would say first, get a mentor as fast as you can. Learn the credit game as fast as you can. I wish I would have knew this stuff at 18 years old so bad, bro. Man, I'll be so far, you know what I mean, by now. So those are two big components that I would say. Find you somebody who you feel as though you want to see yourself like, or you see yourself doing, and just learn directly from that source. That's very helpful too, you know. And then learning the credit game, because it's very detrimental to your life. Like everything we come through in life, besides the funding, even with the funding, but man, everything we kind of got to go through right now involves you having some type of credit or good credit. So if you can capture those two things, I think you can only be in a good off point.
Yeah.
Me, like you said, just getting started early, but the main thing is those happy hours, the hanging out, the parties, is not going nowhere. Like the same people you're hanging out with now, I promise you, 10 years from now, they're still, my friends I was hanging out with, going to happy hour and doing stuff with when I first turned 21, they're still going to the same spots at 29. Like nothing is changing. So
bank balance, yeah.
Same. So we had this, you know, conversation where I was like, I can't miss this one. No, you can. They're going to be doing it again next week. So we had a decision like, do I want to go ahead and learn something new, or go to this network event, or maybe study something on YouTube, or buy this course, or go hang out after work? I'm gonna go hang out after work. I'm gonna do that. Nah, go lock in, go sit in the house, study, and that way you can get to your goal a whole lot faster, because you're choosing to put time in over here than over here. I'm telling you, that crap, I'm doing the same people I was hanging out with at 21, and I love them to death, but they're still going to the same places 9 years later, like 8 years later.
Yeah, new decisions, new life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. There's two things that I would say. You got to get comfortable saying no. Like no, because you know when you young, you want to make everybody happy. You want to do everything, and that was me, right? I was like, I'm trying to spread myself thin to do everything and be that for everybody, and then you can't even invest into yourself. So just being able to be comfortable saying no. My mentor told me this. He said, saying yes and get you to 6 figures, saying no will get you to 7 figures. I'm like, damn, that's real. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, just being able to fail fast, like fail. Like, because when you go through your 20s, right, you can afford to bounce back. You could take the risk, lose, and come back. Once you get older and you got a family, and like it ain't the same. You don't have the same opportunities to risk. So that's what I would share with my younger self.
100%. Well said. All right, guys. And then before we wrap up, we always play a quick game. The way the game works is called First Things First. So essentially, the rules of the game are, I'm going to rifle off a quick word or phrase, and then you guys just tell me the first word or phrase that comes to mind. Make sense?
That's dope.
Make sense? The only rule is that you guys can't repeat yourself twice, and you can't repeat someone else's answer. Make sense? So we'll go through. Yeah. So we'll go through like we'll basically go 1, 1, 1 like that, and then you just tell me the first word or phrase that comes to mind.
Bet.
All right. Money.
Freedom.
House.
Cash flow.
Limited beliefs.
Damn. Damn. I gotta say one word.
Word or phrase that comes to mind. It's just the first word or phrase that comes to mind.
Holding yourself back.
Involving God.
Kill it.
Best advice you've ever been given.
Execute fast. Yeah.
They always gave us the clause of don't get rich quick, but they never told us about staying broke forever.
Damn.
Damn.
Got him.
That
Got him.
threw me.
Got him.
Duplication. Like duplicating myself. So just being able to build a team around you, because you can't do it by yourself. So you got to be able to duplicate yourself along the way.
worst advice you've ever been given?
Shit. Dang, that's.
You want to go first? We can switch.
I go first. I go first. Don't be using those credit cards, and that's you gonna go in debt.
Yeah. Shout out Dave Ramsey.
And you always debt making people rich. Like what?
Mine's start small.
Start small, think big. Yeah.
So I gotta think big. Like, you don't like whatever you think you want to do it times 5, times 10, times 20.
The worst advice, but I never took it. To you doing a lot right now. Take a little break. Everybody seen take that advice. It's hard to bounce back, hard as hell. So I got the advice from a couple people I loved, and I'm glad I didn't take it.
How about financial freedom?
Yeah, generational wealth.
Being able to go to Dubai for 30 days with no issue. 30 days in a row, no issues, no problems or nothing. Everything running smooth, still making money.
Yeah.
Just wake up, what's the plan today? Like, what do we want to do? Yeah, that's for financial freedom. Like, just waking up, like, what I feel like doing today.
Yeah, freedom of schedule.
Yeah.
Freedom of mind. I love that. Okay. What about
Yeah, I'm ready.
yeah, you guys are prime now. What about the toughest decision you've ever had to make in business?
To walk away or try harder.
To walk away or try harder?
Yeah, it's a tough decision because like sometimes you're in a spot.
Which way do I go? Yeah.
Like, you remember, like, me deep in real estate. I'm 40, 50 grand in. Do I keep pouring more money to get to this goal, or do I let me get out of there? You know what I'm saying? Like, when do I cut my losses, or when do I keep going to get that return? Like, that's a tough decision to make. Like, so yeah,
It's good.
Decision I had to make.
Got you stumped.
Yeah, I got 2. I'm talking about which one I want.
I think the toughest decision I had to make, whether it was if I was gonna have my child or not. Yeah, and I decided to just have my child.
Yeah.
Toughest decision. Dang, that's hard. That's hard. Honestly, I want to say what he said, but he already took it. Dang.
Yeah.
Toughest decision, honestly, is I don't want to say choosing between family or work. That's tough. Like, I have this great podcast that I have to do, and it's amazing, but I still want to be here at the doctor's appointment for your child. Like, dang, I don't miss none of those, but that's really where it gets like, whoa, which one do I go ahead and do? That's a hard decision, especially entrepreneurs like us with kids. Those decisions get hard, super hard. And I can only imagine when the kids get older, soccer practice, but then you ask us to come on a podcast, like, damn, we got one shot at this, but you might go to the league one day, like, you just need my support. That's tough. That's tough.
Yeah. What about the biggest misconception about becoming a millionaire? Being on the other side of the fence compared to maybe when you were younger, intimidated by it, or because there's people watching this who are like, oh man, I can't even fathom it. So I guess the biggest misconception about what it takes to build a multi-million-dollar business being on this side of the fence.
I think that people think it's the hardest thing in the world, but it's not really that it's the hardest thing in the world. It could be simple. It could be simple, but you got to know how and what to do to make it simple. The reason why it seems hard is because you don't know how to do it yet. You haven't synced it. You haven't got exposed to how it can happen and how to break it down. But it's kind of simpler if I break it down to you got to sell $1,000 offer to 1,000 people. How do you make it? It's not as hard as you may think. You know what I mean? But you got to put the pieces together, of course. But I think that just like doing it, having it actually happen is just so hard.
Yeah. It is not the more hours, the more systems. When you're making $100,000, that's just you putting in hours. I'm selling this, I'm selling this, selling this. But going to the million, multiple millions, it's systems. Because at that point, you don't got that many hours in a day. Okay, look, we need to put a system that's going to automate responses, that's going to automate this one. That's how you really scale up to the millions. First 100,000 is hard work. Up to $1 million is like, okay, who's going to do that? What system's going to automatically do that? That's how it's going.
Yeah. I think for me, it's realizing that I had problems that money can solve. Cause like You think that, yo, I'm gonna go get money, I'm gonna get money that's gonna change everything for me, and then you get the money. It's like, no, you still gotta be a great communicator. You still gotta be a great leader. Like, these are things that you have to have that's intangible to even run a business, to be run a family, right? So most people, they think that getting the money is gonna change everything. Is not. It can help, have resources, but I guess that was it for me. Like, realizing that I still got things to work on, even though the money is there.
Profound.
Yeah.
All right, and then the last one, you guys ready? Is when you guys are, I know you guys are all still pretty young, but we ask every guest this, when you're dead, gone, and nothing but a pile of dust, what do you hope that your life, your body of work, whether for you, your family, whatever it is, what do you hope your life was really about? Legacy.
Yeah.
What's the legacy that you're trying to build?
My last name. I want my last name to be like, Trump's, Hilton's, like my name on the billboard, on the facility. So where
My storage facility?
Yeah. So my sons, when they walk in the room, it's like they get the door open for them VIP just because of your last name. Like, that's truly what I'm doing it for. It's bigger than money. I want that last name to be, it like sketched in the history.
I think it's the impact that he created while he was here, the amount of different people's lives that he was able to change based off just what he did, and make it like a domino effect for a lot of people to be able to benefit off of and be able to change their situation, so that he changed a lot of people's lives.
Damn. Good. I think for me, all of that, but just a little deeper, where my son walks into certain rooms or just meets different people, and they like, yo, they giving stories, yo, your dad helped me out a lot. He got me out of this jam. Or like, yo, your dad gave me some game that changed my life. Like, yo, you don't even realize your dad really, really, like, did a lot of stuff for me that we can't talk about, but I'm telling you, I would be dead if it wasn't for, I would be in a jam wasn't for him. Like, whatever you need personally, or he gave me some advice personally, not even business, that just really helped me out, get me out of depression or something like that. That's the type of, not even just business, but just overall, like, you are a great person on this earth. I'll do anything for anybody you need, your family, because of what I did and what I left with.
Love it. I love it. Very cool, gentlemen. Well, that's it. Any final words of wisdom for people watching who are interested in joining the Fund Your Freedom Challenge and maybe now inspired to take their life or business to the next level?
Now stands for no opportunities wasted. So the longer you wait, the longer the opportunities get wasted. So you need to act now.
That's a fact. I'll leave it on that.
I love it, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure to check them all out, as we have their links in the description below. And as always, live strong, live with passion, and go chase those dreams. And do yourself a favor, check out the Fund Your Freedom Challenge. We'll put the links in the description below. But make sure you don't just watch this and take the wisdom, but you actually apply it to take your life to the next level, so that you too can create freedom for yourself, for your loved ones. All right, guys, till next time, live strong, live blessed. See you in the next episode. And make sure to like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.